Hey, how's it going, everyone? The live stream crashed fucking twice. Oh. Should I even stream on YouTube? Should I save that for Twitch? I feel like I should save that for Twitch. You know. Yeah, I'm gonna save that for Twitch. Basically what I was gonna do on the live stream is I was gonna do a Q&A. So instead of doing the Q&A this week, I'll do the Q&A either next week or later on today. Pretty much because I can sort it out a bit better later, and I'll do a bit better later, and you know, all that good stuff. So now I'm just gonna review the books that I got this week. Without further ado, first book I'll be talking about is Hunt for Wolverine, The Adamantium Agenda, issue number 3. This is better than the second issue, not as good as the first issue. So basically it's just a big fight against Mr. Sinister. One Mr. Sinister, unlike it shows on the cover, where there's several Mr. Sinisters. There's only one in the issue, and yeah, Laura Kinney is on the team for some reason, because Tom Taylor loves his new Wolverine, even though they're still calling her Wolverine, even though they're hunting for another Wolverine. So doesn't that get a bit confusing? Also, she's not. She's back as X-23 now. We do get this flashback at the start of the issue to back when this team was around in the Bendis era of Avengers, when this Avengers team was first around. And it's after this bomb has gone off, they're all Tony and Logan are both talking to each other, and Logan's like, I know your secret. I know the darkest secret that you've been hiding, and it's even darker than anything else, and it's got something to do with Civil War. So that will be interesting to find out, hopefully in the next issue, more than likely in this Dead Ends one shot that they're doing, the alpha of this big event they've been having. This is probably the one I've been enjoying the least out of all of these Hunt for Wolverine series. This has the best art, though. The art in this is very good. It's just the story seems a bit outlandish. It seems too much like a cartoon. It doesn't take itself seriously enough. And with the subject matter that's involved in this, you'd think that it would, without having to do with Mr. Sinister collecting the DNA of what's revealed to be everyone on the planet, and he's trying to clone everyone. You'd think that it would be written a bit more seriously, and that he'd take the story a bit more seriously. But it does feel like there's no real weight to anything, and it does feel like there's no stakes as well, which, you know, I hate stories where there's no stakes, or where it's shown that there's no stakes. Up next is The Punisher, number 227. I've been really enjoying the story arc with Frank Castle getting the War Machine armor. It's been really fun so far, which is something you don't really get to say when talking about the Punisher, because he's a lot of this brooding murder, kill, and just really dark, depressing, moody stuff. This is really fun. It tackles with during the events of Secret War, Frank Castle allied himself with Hydra, and now he's trying to bring himself back from that and try and do right for his mistakes during Secret Empire by killing everyone in Hydra, or every high-ranking Hydra official. Obviously he's not going to because of the comic books, and if he does, then Captain America's got no villains. But it's revealed that evil Steve Rogers is still around, even though that was revealed in Deadpool. But yeah, evil Steve Rogers is still around, he's still alive and kicking. And the story doesn't really evolve around like Punisher and him butting heads, but by the end of this, Punisher, who is in War Machine's armor, gets confronted by Iron Man, but we don't get shown who's in the armor. So you might obviously say, oh, it's going to be Tony, but it could be an AI. It could even be Rhodey, for all we know, and that's going to be that would be interesting if it's Rhodey in the armor. But yeah, I've been enjoying this, but it does seem a bit too much style, not enough substance, and the art does let it down quite a lot. The covers are beautiful, the art inside, not so much. Next up, I'm talking about Daredevil number 605. I loved this. If you remember, if you've been watching my channel for a while, the last few issues of this that I read, I had a one gripe throughout all that time and all of this story arc. I feel like it's been all tell, no show, and it's telling us everything, but it's avoiding from showing us everything. This is the complete opposite. This is all action all the way through. It deals with New York is under siege from the Hand. So this Order of the Dragon has come along, and they are kind of combating the Hand, being led by Daredevil's old priest and Daredevil himself. So they kind of rally together, but they're severely outnumbered, and they're stuck in this building which is surrounded by the Hand. So they decide to just bolt out of there and fight as many of the Hand as they can on their way to this like stable of police horses, where they charge through New York to City Hall on these police horses to fight the beast of the Hand. And it's bloody epic. It just is. This is like some of the best Daredevil that I've read in a while, since Guardian Devil. This is really Charles Soule's epic, and I can't wait for the next issues, because apparently Phil Noto's going to be on art, and I don't really. I'm kind of a bit of two minds with his art, because I liked him on Thunderbolts when he did Thunderbolts, but I don't really like his X-Men covers for X-Men Gold. I don't really like those, but I prefer his interiors, and from the covers that I've seen from the preview issues, it looks alright, but I prefer this kind of cover art that we have for Daredevil, like what's on the cover here. I prefer that, and I'd like this to be the interior art, but and also the interior art for this isn't great. It's wrong gut. It's Mike Henderson, and his art is not my cup of tea, but the story is so bloody good, and it's just all action, non-stop, and I love it. My pick of the week for this week, Amazing Spider-Man #1 by Nick Spencer. Now, I've said a lot of stuff about Nick Spencer. I was of two minds for Secret Empire. I thought I'm one of those people that wasn't against turning Captain America evil, and the whole idea of there being two Steve Rogers running around, one evil and one good. I think that could lead into some really good stories down the line. But the whole thing with Secret Empire is it was a lot of wasted potential. It could have really, like, characterized and given character to a lot of characters that hadn't, like Amadeus Cho and a lot of the legacy characters. Because if they're supposed to be the forefront of Secret Empire and the forefront of Marvel going forward, which they've kind of dropped off now, and they're all in Champions, which no one cares about. Yeah, I just thought it was a lot of wasted potential, and they could have saved Hank Pym in Secret Empire as well, but they didn't, and he's just kind of running around being a villain. So yeah, but this is bloody brilliant. This is amazing. Amazing. Yeah, this is so good. Because what we have, first of all, Ryan Ottley on artwork. I didn't like it from the previews, but reading through this, his artwork is bloody beautiful, and it really grew on me. It's that art that's like, the more you look at it, the more used to it you get, and the more, like, the better it looks the more you look at it. So yeah, I really enjoyed the art in this, and the story is just as good. So it kind of focuses on, like, just destroying Spider-Man's life, and events unfold which can only be described as the Parker luck. So at first we see that we see a dream sequence from Back in Black, I think, where he's on the Empire State Building. He's with Mary Jane, and they're together. That's all a dream, as he wakes up in this apartment with Robbie Robertson's son and Boomerang. You know, everyone's favourite Spider-Man villain, Boomerang. So that's interesting. And they do set up that there's going to be a storyline going on with that soon down the line. And basically, Spider-Man goes to his old university, and they have this technology where they can scan past papers and past, like, exams that you've done, or like projects that you've done, to see if you've lifted that work from somewhere else. And they do that to one of Peter Parker's papers, and they realise that it was actually written by Doc Ock, because it was written during the whole, like, Superior Spider-Man timeline, well, not timeline. It was written during the time that Doc Ock was inside of the body of Peter Parker. Is really complex and convoluted, and I haven't read it, so I'm not the best person to explain it. But it was written by this paper was written by Doc Ock, so Peter Parker gets his doctorate taken away from him. He gets booted out of his job. He gets laid off his job. Aunt May hates him now because he didn't take responsibility for this. And the only shoulder he has to cry on, because the only person that realises and that he can tell about all of this, is Mary Jane. So by the end of this, and the moment that everyone's been talking about, is they share a kiss at the end of this. Mary Jane and Peter Parker getting back together after, I think it's since the J. Michael Straczynski's run. And are they going to have a storyline down the road where they undo One More Day? Because if Nick Spencer does that, then everyone's going to forgive him for Secret Empire. Like, seriously. Just saying, Nick Spencer, if you wanna be forgived for the Secret Empire, if you wanna make a name for yourself, this is the way to go. Because not only is this book beautifully written with the dramatic sequences, the comedy and the humour in this book is great. And Nick Spencer understands humour, and not only does he understand humour, he understands how funny Peter Parker actually is. And he understands, like, the whole thing is not to try and force comedy out of a character, but be as funny as the character allows you to be. Which was my favourite thing about Thor Ragnarok. It allowed the character of Thor to be as funny as Thor can be, whilst also having the right amount of drama and the right amount of emotion as well. This is still great as well, and that's exactly what they do here. Because there's a side plot to do with Mysterio, how he's engineered this alien invasion to like kill all the world's superheroes. He gets taken down rather easily, and yeah, he gets beaten rather easily, and they have like a backup story to do with Mysterio and how he's kind of losing his mind, or he's being like messed up by this other villain who's kind of like Nightmare. So that's cool, and I want to see more of that. But also they have this other like short 2-page like after credit scene showing Peter Parker being told basically you have to have another go at doing your doctorate, but there's a catch. The guy who wants to teach you and the guy who wants to give you his doctorate can be very persuasive. And then he enters the room and it's Kurt Connors, but he's not in human form. It's Kurt Connors as the Lizard. I can't wait for the next issue. And man, Nick Spencer, you've won me. You've won me over. Oh man. Oh man. I wasn't gonna make it my pick of the week until like the halfway point is where that book just drew me in, and it is a contender for the best fresh start book. It's up there with Venom. It's that bloody good. But yeah, those are the books that I read this week. To recap, Adamantium Agenda, it was okay. Punisher issue 227 was good. Daredevil issue 605 was really good, and Amazing Spider-Man issue 1 or issue 802 was bloody amazing. Brilliant. And one would even say marvelous. I need to stop with the puns. But yeah, that's all I got time for this week. Tune in again. Probably not next week. I might have another Boy Eats video up next week. If not, don't yell at me in the comments. There might be a Q&A later today. I make no promises. Might be. If not, don't yell at me in the comments, please. And that's it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, donate to the Patreon. I will have all those lovely links from my channel description in the video description as well. So if you're interested about Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, all that lovely stuff, to follow me on my social media. Links are in the description. And, yeah. That's all we've got time for. Peace.